It just cut it off again. Say no. It's recording. Get home. And we'll put this one on this one. Let's see what happens. Because this one be saying that it don't. It's the wrong charge or some crap. Y'all have cell phone cord problems? Hit it in the comment line. Oh yeah, please like and subscribe to my channel. I'm a little guy. Some people just like to watch my channel while they sleep at night. Don't be no bullshit. But one of the main reasons why I do it is because my mama, she likes to ride. When she was young, she used to drive everywhere, right? But now she likes to watch my videos because she gets to see the towns that I be in. And she be like sitting at home in her chair. And it's like her taking a ride with her son, which is cool. It's so good. Uh-oh. Okay. Close everything. I ain't gonna bother Nicole. Somebody sent a voicemail.
You have 3 new voice messages. New message.
Hey Douglas, this is Justin over here with NASCAR in Daytona.
Message marked for deletion. New message. Message marked for deletion. New message. Message marked for deletion. There are no more messages. Main menu. To listen to your messages, press 1. To send a message, press 2. To create a greeting, press 3. For mailbox options, press 4. For password security, press 5. For help, press 0.
Alright, let's go home. I'm done for today.
Missiles in that area. Israel says one missile struck near a mosque. Any moment, President Trump will be in a closed-door national security meeting. He is still considering his next move on Iran. Yesterday, the president said he'll make a decision on whether to strike within 2 weeks. I'm Jackie Heinrich in for Harris. This is the Faulkner Focus. Here's White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
Iran is in a very weak and vulnerable position because of the strikes and the attacks from Israel. And with respect to the president's statement, I shared that with all of you. And he has been very direct and clear. Iran can and should make a deal. We sent a deal to them that was practical, that was realistic, or they will face grave consequences.
The New York Post reports part of Trump's concern over military action in Iran is about creating the type of chaos that we saw in Libya after the assassination of Muammar Gaddafi. The president worries if Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, is toppled, it could create a similar power vacuum there. The IDF saying it flew 60 fighter jets to strike dozens of military targets across Iran. Israel says it attacked 3 missile launchers that were already set to be launched into its territory. New York Times is reporting U.S. intelligence officials believe Iran has yet to decide on whether it will actually build a nuclear weapon. The country could shift toward making a bomb if the Iranians hit its enrichment site, or if its supreme leader is killed by United States forces, according to that report. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu having this message to President Trump.
I'm determined that we will achieve all our goals, all their nuclear facilities. We can do this. But the decision of the president, whether he wants to join or not again, is his decision. He will do what is good for the United States, and I will do what is good for the state of Israel. And I must say that up until this moment, everyone is doing what is called any help is welcome.
Lucas Tomlinson's at the White House with more on this. Good morning, Lucas.
Good morning, Jackie. Any minute now, President Trump will be meeting with his national security team here at the White House, likely being presented with U.S. military options about striking or not, and the commander-in-chief having to make that decision whether or not to launch strikes into Iran. Now, there were a lot of reports that surfaced over the past few days that said that decision was imminent, but yesterday, the White House press secretary said the president is going to take some more time.
I have a message directly from the president, and I quote, based on the fact that substantial chance of negotiations
You have a message.
will take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks.
And here's Israel's ambassador to the United Nations moments ago from New York.
We have seen diplomatic talks for the last few decades, and look at the results. So, if there will be a genuine effort to dismantle the capabilities of Iran, then that's something we can consider. But it is going to be like another session and debates. That's not going to work.
Now, the foreign ministers of Germany, France, and Britain are holding nuclear talks with their Iranian counterpart today in Geneva. The ministers will first meet with the EU's top diplomat. Iran's foreign minister said yesterday he's not interested in talking to the United States and the Trump administration unless the following conditions are met first.
ما خواهان مذاکره نیستیم. آمریکایی‌ها خواهان مذاکره هستند. چند بار هم پیام دادن. پیام‌های خیلی جدی هم دادن. ولی ما صراحتاً به اونها گفتیم که تا وقتی که این تهاجم و تجاوز متوقف نشه، اصولاً حرف از گفتگو زدن حرف.
Now, moments ago, the Chinese said Israel should cease fire in Iran in this conflict as soon as possible to prevent the situation from escalating. Now, one other thing the National Security Council is likely mulling over, Jackie, is whether Israel takes action against Fordo, that underground nuclear enrichment facility buried deep underground on a mountain 2 hours south of Tehran. There are some options for the Israelis, including launching an elite Air Force commando unit, Unit 51 Shaldog. They had success this September in Syria destroying an underground missile facility used by Iran. There's another option the Israelis are currently weighing as well, likely, Jackie, and that is turning off the power at Fordo. Without power, those enrichment centrifuges cannot operate. They will be permanently disabled. Jackie?
All right, Lucas Tomlinson, keep watching that. Thank you. In Portland, Oregon this week, hundreds of anti-ICE rioters flooded the streets there, many of them trying to break into an ICE office. Federal agents used rubber bullets, tear gas, and flashbangs to shut down that massive mob. It's part of a wave of protests and riots against ICE across the country. Last night, President Trump scored a major victory on his action to quell the anti-ICE riots in Los Angeles. A federal appeals court ruled unanimously that the president can keep control of the National Guard troops he deployed to the city. Trump posted, "The judges obviously realize that Gavin Newsom is incompetent and ill-prepared, but this is much bigger than Gavin. If our cities or people need protection, we are the ones to give it to them should state and local police be unable." Governor Newsom responded to the court's ruling, writing, "The president is not a king and is not above the law. We will press forward with our challenge to President Trump's authoritarian use of U.S. military soldiers against citizens." Fox News contributor Jason Chaffetz on the Faulkner Focus earlier this week.
They're called the National Guard. It's the National Guard. You get past that. And Gavin Newsom, have you actually seen the tape? I mean, are you actually watching what's going on in your own state, for goodness sake? Look, there is legal precedence here. It is a dangerous path that they're going down to try to say that a governor can push back and say, no, we're not going to do this.
Meanwhile, as the Supreme Court's term is winding to a close, we're still waiting on some key decisions on Trump's orders. It includes nationwide injunctions, deportations of illegal immigrants to South Sudan, and cuts to the federal workforce. Jonathan Turley, Fox News contributor, George Washington University law professor, and constitutional law expert. Jonathan, thank you for being here. I want to just get your top-line thoughts on the court ruling, what you think it might signal as far as the likelihood of this appeal and where that goes.
Well, this was obviously something of a buzzkill for Governor Newsom. I mean, it interrupted his narrative that he's defending against the outbreak of tyranny. The court here is saying that actually you're on the other side of the rule of law on this one, that the statute gives the president this authority. He has discretion to make that decision, that any violation of the statute was a highly technical one that wouldn't justify what the district court did here. And it also frees the district court's decision, which was really problematic for many. You know, this is a district court judge that suggested that President Trump was acting like King George, and the opinion was sort of full of sort of talking points that we've seen out of some of the Democratic politicians. All of that has been set aside by the Ninth Circuit that says the president has this authority, he's likely to prevail, and no, we do not believe the governor has a veto on the deployment of National Guard's personnel.
To your point, there's a new op-ed in the Wall Street Journal. It asks, is rioting acceptable, and if so, how much? An expert reads, not all of Los Angeles was a war zone, the Democratic establishment argues. The majority of its neighborhoods weren't undergoing a riot, therefore federal backup was unnecessary and authoritarian, but the seriousness of a riot shouldn't be measured against the worst case. Civic violence is almost always relatively localized. The issue is our tolerance for it and how urgently it should be put down. What do you make of that, and how this might be extrapolated out in the future for other cases where the president might have to call in support?
Well, you can see what happened just last night in Oregon. That is precisely the type of violence that the president says he's trying to quell. He's trying to stop this from going out of control. These are National Guardsmen who are protecting federal buildings. They're not engaged in the enforcement of immigration laws. And, you know, the district court in this case really said something I thought was pretty extreme and unsupportable. He said, you know, yeah, the president's ability to enforce federal immigration law may have been diminished, but it wasn't eliminated entirely. And the Ninth Circuit said, what's that? I mean, you don't have to wait until your authority is completely eliminated in order for you to act. The statute is allowing him to deploy these troops to allow the enforcement of federal law. And at the same time, you had an LA politician, a Democrat, saying, you know, ICE and the federal government just needs to, quote, retreat, and then everything will be calm. Well, that's not going to happen either. Federal law can be enforced by federal officials, and it's going to go forward.
One final question, Jonathan, because we are still waiting on these key Supreme Court decisions, some big ones on nationwide injunctions into the birthright citizenship case, South Sudan deportations, federal workforce reductions. Any sort of smoke signals that you're seeing about which way these decisions might go?
Well, they have 10 cases still in the pipeline, and that's not including what's called the shadow docket or the emergency cases before the court, which are quite significant in and of themselves. The term is supposed to end next week. They could always extend that. There's the injunction issue in the birthright citizenship case, which is of great importance to the administration. They've been arguing that these individual judges are freezing the federal government from important policy moves and programs, and they're trying to confine that role. That could change a lot of these cases, and that's just one of 5 very significant cases we're still waiting for.
Okay, we will consult with you when that comes around. Jonathan Turley, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie.
There it goes. Look at that.
I ain't getting that one text from me.
There you go.
Of course, correspondent Mike Tobin in Tel Aviv this morning as sirens blared across southern Israel. Iran launched more missiles into the area, setting off fires and causing even more damage to the country. But Israel is undeterred and forging ahead with its attacks on Iran's nuclear and military sites, including its most protected Fordo facility. Senator Tom Cotton says that is key to disabling Iran's capabilities.
Fordo, their deeply buried underground nuclear bunker, has to be closed one way or the other. It can be closed the easy way or it can be closed the hard way.
Welcome back. Israel continues to hammer Iranian nuclear sites to disable the country's atomic capabilities. So far, it's launched dozens of strikes on these facilities you see in the northern and north central parts of the country. It includes the one that is most concerning to everyone, Fordo. That site is buried deep in a mountain, about 300 feet below ground, some 60 miles outside Tehran. Taking out that facility will require a much bigger bomb than Israel has in its arsenal. The president's considering deploying a U.S. bunker buster bomb. It is capable of penetrating 200 feet underground before detonation. Chief National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin explains. Hey, Jen.
Hi, Jackie. Well, we've just learned that the USS Nimitz, the aircraft carrier strike group, will be arriving in the Middle East this weekend. That's significant in terms of any potential strike on Fordo, because on board are not only dozens of warplanes and up to 5,000 sailors, but also the very important EF-18 Growler electronic warplanes that are needed if you were to fly the B-2s over Iran. Now, here at the Pentagon, there is little doubt whether the GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator, or MOP, could destroy Iran's Fordo nuclear facility, buried, as you said, 300 feet under a mountain complex with layers of limestone and dolomite rock, which geologists call nature's own bomb shelter. Shown here during a test in 2018 and developed by the Air Force specifically to address Iran and North Korea's underground nuclear sites, the MOP was designed to penetrate 200 feet underground. Further, if two missiles are dropped via GPS positioning into the same hole.
Does it have the capacity, if it's employed the correct way, to have the effect inside the mission space? Absolutely.
Retired Navy Captain Todd Sawhill oversaw the Defense Department's targeting operations, advising 5 CENTCOM commanders and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs on weapons like the MOP.
You can use a multiple hit scenario so that you have multiple impacts in the same point. You'll create
You have a message.
Go in even deeper and farther, so that successive hits on the same point will allow increased penetration and increased lethality.
All eyes now on Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri, home to the B-2 stealth bomber. The U.S. is the only military in the world with the capability to strike this buried program with a conventional weapon using its B-2 bombers, which can fly at 50,000 feet, carrying 2 massive 30,000-pound bunker buster bombs. There are 2 entrances to Fordo.
If they wanted to go after the portal entrances, it's likely that they would use 2 B-2s for each portal entrance, so it could drop 2 bombs per portal.
The B-2s fly with a significant air escort for protection. It's a 30-hour round trip to the Mideast from Whiteman that requires a massive air refueling bridge. That is why the Pentagon ordered dozens of refuelers to bases in the UK and the Middle East. Lieutenant General Mark Wetherington is a former B-2 pilot and served as deputy commander of the Air Force Global Strike Command.
There'll be dozens of tanker aircraft supporting it. There'll be electronic attack and command and control missions and all sorts.
Biden argued that we needed new legislation to address the situation at the southern border. I think what you've demonstrated is that was absolutely not the case. I'd like for you, if you would, Secretary Noem, to paint a picture for us. How was it your first day when you arrived at the agency? What sort of state of affairs did you walk into? I want the public to understand how poorly managed the situation was that you've taken on.
Well, Senator, thank you for the question. I would say that overwhelmingly it was a night and day difference as soon as President Trump was sworn into office, because immediately the message was sent out to everyone who worked in the Department of Homeland Security that we were now going to enforce the law in the United States of America, that we were going to be able to let people do their jobs, which had been so frustrating for so many of our CBP and ICE officers and those who partnered with them. They felt as though they had been facilitating an invasion of our country. And the fact they grew up in these communities. Many of these officers were raised in Del Rio and El Paso and Tucson, and they were, just devastated by what the change they had seen. So the fact that they got to do their jobs again was overwhelmingly, I believe, why this was a success in securing our border, knowing who comes into this country, and stopping those who shouldn't. President Trump, what I'm proud of is that he has removed 252 known terrorists from our country just since he's been in office. Thousands of criminals and illegal aliens that have perpetuated violence on our communities. And I think the employees and the officers that are a part of the Department of Homeland Security are proud to be a part of the solution that's making America very safe again.
Can I stay with the comment that you made, or a term that you used, invasion?
Yes.
Because what we saw over the prior 4 years was the largest invasion of our country that we've ever seen. I don't think the American public understands this because it was obfuscated in the media. But could you just break down for us and explain to us how the Biden administration facilitated the invasion of over 10 million people illegally entering this country in 4 years?
Yeah, absolutely. Their lack of enforcement of our laws and their policies facilitated people being welcomed into our country, telegraphed around the world that come to America, the borders are open. When you get there, someone will give you asylum, you'll be protected, will give you housing and food and medical care, free medical care, billions of dollars spent by taxpayers to give them more advantages than what the average United States American citizen gets. That was very clearly telegraphed by their policies, and it devastated so many of our communities. I think most people also recognize that when you welcome people from around the world, you're going to get bad actors too. You're going to get cartel members taking advantage of the situation, terrorist organizations that are going to infiltrate our country, people who have been kicked out of their own countries for reasons that their country would not tolerate. They came here to find a safe haven, and Joe Biden gave them that opportunity. So, it is going to be a big job to clean up the mess that they created, but President Trump is determined to do so, and overwhelmingly, the American people support him in that. They are so thrilled to get these dangerous people off of their streets. When I've been out working with the frontline individuals in the Department of Homeland Security, with our officers, with those that are emergency responders. You can be in New York City, you can be in San Diego, you can be anywhere, and people that are walking their kids to school in the morning are walking by the operations going, thank you.
One last
point. Thank you
point.
for being here.
The situation in my home state, we're losing about 3,000 kids a year to fentanyl, to overdoses. We've got human trafficking happening from Memphis to Nashville and beyond. And I really want to know, I think the American people expect that this border will be secured, that we can get this stopped, but what resources do you need to make that happen that you don't have today?
Well, you've seen the request from President Trump in reconciliation and in his fiscal year budget. He is doing due diligence to make sure we have the resources that we need to really secure our border, but also to make sure that we are stopping this poison in our communities. It's giving us enforcement tools, more officers out there, more agreements. You've seen us implement 287G with local law enforcement officers and state law enforcement officers that will get us compound our efforts out on the ground, give us more individuals to clean up the mess. But we also need the technology at our ports to scan packages that come into this country. We've collected, I think, over $36 billion worth of tariffs against other countries that because of what President Trump is doing to make sure that we're putting jobs back in the United States of America. But CBP is the ones that are collecting those tariffs, but they also need at our ports of entry scanning technology. So we know what's coming in packages, what's coming in by air freight, that we just haven't been doing due diligence under the Joe Biden administration to really know what the threats are and how those dangerous chemicals and poisons are coming in.
Thank you, Senator Hagerty. For the last round of questions, Senator Murphy. Thank you. Madam Secretary, one of the accounts that right now is being impounded, I mentioned it in my opening statement, is the Shelter and Services Program. I certainly understand that as a program that Republicans, unfortunately, have not supported, but it was a major element of the budget that we passed, and thus far there are somewhere in the neighborhood of $600 million that you have not expended. Can you commit to this committee, understanding that you have the ability to decide how that money is spent and who gets that money within the parameters dictated by Congress, but can you commit to this committee that you are going to spend the money in the Shelter and Services account according to the authorization provided to you by Congress?
Sir, we have followed authorizations and the law and how these dollars are being spent. We are not conducting any impoundment. And as you know, under the previous administration, the Shelter and Services Program was being used to facilitate illegal immigration and shelter for criminals in many areas. And so we are using those dollars to how they were intended by Congress when those dollars were put into that program.
But you haven't spent really any of those dollars other than those that you've reprogrammed. So I certainly understand that you do have a right to spend a little bit of time on review, but you do have to spend those dollars. So can you commit to us that you are going to spend the dollars in the Shelter and Services Program on the functionalities and programmatic parameters authorized by Congress?
We're going to follow the authorities that we have under the Department of Homeland Security and the administration for how Congress appropriates funds. Absolutely, we will follow what is authorized and what is the process for how those are traditionally spent.
Madam Chair, my guess is that the administration is not going to spend any of the SSP dollars, that by the end of the year, those dollars will not be spent. And I raise this issue because I admit that this was a priority for Democrats, and that money was included in the budget in exchange for other funds that were priorities for Republicans. If we now live in a world in which the administration spends down the accounts that were priorities for Republicans and does not spend down the priorities that were priorities for Democrats, I don't know how we do a budget. I don't actually know how we come to an agreement if we live in a world in which the administration doesn't spend the accounts that it doesn't believe in. That would be precedent breaking for this Congress. And so I raise this issue because I think it's very relevant to our work, and I think it will make it virtually impossible for us to do a bipartisan budget if by the end of this fiscal year, the $600 million that are sitting in this account that are supposed to be used to treat migrants to this country humanely are not used. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator Murphy. And we have about 6 minutes left on the vote, so I'm going to make my last round quick. I want to talk to you a little bit about the Center for Domestic Preparedness. It's the preeminent institution when it comes to training and equipping emergency managers and first responders. I certainly appreciate the department's efforts to increase the capacity of our state, local, territorial, and tribal partners to better handle disasters, to respond to civil unrest, and to keep cities safe and secure.
The incident were dropped because, this is what he said, because I have a really good lawyer. Get the... Hey, why I'm laughing is because, man, I'll tell you guys, I teach business and I coach business now, and, you know, I've cleaned up my life a lot. But I come from the street, man. I come from poverty. And so there's a thing when we were young, it used to be like a joke in the hood that my lawyer's a beast, bro. When somebody come home from snitching, that's always their excuse. It's like, bro, no, you just snitched on half the hood. It has nothing to do with having a good lawyer. And they would come home, my lawyer's a beast. They'd be like, bro, didn't you just catch 2 bodies? How are you home already? My lawyer's a beast, bro. No, fool. You told on everybody. They asked why his charges were dropped. He said, because I have a really good lawyer. Get out of here. Said he's completed over 20 drug classes and submitted a random drug testing. Bro, getting caught with cocaine at the airport is a federal crime. It ain't got nothing to do with you having a good lawyer. So now Diddy's lawyer is cross-examining this guy, Brian Steele. Brian Steele is the lawyer that was on Young Thug's trial as well. So Brian Steele asked Paul about his previous tenure on the Syracuse University basketball team, Paul confirmed that he works hard and strives for perfection. He said he was willing to work long hours for Diddy and learn from the exposure that he got to the music industry through Diddy. He confirmed that handling drugs was a minor part of all the work that he did for Combs. He said, Brian Steele asked, "So you were not some drug mule, right?" Paul said, "Absolutely not." Paul said that he believed the drugs he obtained were just for Combs' personal use. Steele asked if Paul thought Wild King nights were also personal for Combs. Asking him if you're some drug mule, that's all connotations and speculative. Like, bro, he may not feel like a drug mule, but if you're running around getting drugs, picking up packages, you know, making drug deals on behalf of Diddy, for Diddy, you're a drug mule, bro. We going off of legal definitions, and Brian still know that. He just got to defend his client. Paul said that he believed the drugs he obtained were just for Diddy's personal use. Steele asked Paul if he thought Wild King nights were also personal for Combs. He said, "I considered it to be like an escape." He confirmed that he believed it was Combs' personal time to be alone with Jane. Paul testified that he often spoke with Jane, the Jane Doe, one of Combs' accusers, before the King nights, almost every time afterwards. He confirmed that he never saw anything that made him feel like she was hesitant or not willing to participate. Why would he though? During cross-examination, Diddy's lawyer asked him about the arrest on March 25th, 2024. Paul confirmed his arrest was for a small amount of cocaine for Combs' personal use, that Paul had accidentally left it in his travel bag. Neither Combs nor Christina Karam asked him to travel with the cocaine that day. Paul recalled telling law enforcement that everything in the bag was his, then his heart dropped when the agent pulled the cocaine out of the bag because he didn't mean to travel with it. So on one hand, it's like bro talking out both sides of his neck. Yeah, it was for Diddy, but Diddy didn't ask me to bring it. Like, bro, what? So the former assistant for Diddy said if he would ever work for, Diddy's lawyer asked the former assistant if he would have ever worked for a criminal. Paul testified absolutely not. Steele asked Paul if he felt indebted to Combs for all the experiences he received while working for him. He said, "I guess. What you mean by indebted?" Steele asked Paul if he had learned a lot from Combs, and Paul confirmed, "Yeah, I learned a lot from him." Steele then asked Paul if he had good experience working for Diddy. He said, for the most part. The cross-examination ended. On a redirect, the U.S. attorney, the prosecutor, asked Brendan Paul if he believed or what he believed was taking place during the Wild King nights. He said there was sex happening and partying. Paul confirmed that he was not present in the hotel rooms, so he did not know definitively if anything illegitimate was happening. He said, "Sitting here today, how do you feel about Mr. Combs?" Brendan Paul said, "It's complicated." Yeah, it's complicated because Buddy ain't come get you from jail when it was time to get you from jail. You have to pay that on your own. Anyways, let me see that was the. Yep. So after he was asked what he felt about Diddy, he said it was complicated, and that was the end of his testimony. So that's everything that this guy said. And I believe Christina Karam is going to be the next person called to the stand. Let's see some of the other things that's going on. I think that the huge lesson in this is just, bro, I think Diddy got bored with his money, man. I'm gonna be real, man. I don't know, because what could you possibly be having 6 assistants doing all the same thing? Like, I don't know, man. This is a crazy situation. Cuba Gooding Jr. came forward and said he's praying for Diddy. I thought, like, bro, you need Cuba Gooding got to just relax, bro. Don't put no spotlight on yourself. So I thought that was funny. Let's get to this audio real quick, because before we run out of time, I would have delved into that topic a little deeper. But I want to get to this audio that came out with Cassie real quick and see what you guys think about it. It came out yesterday. I'm gonna play it. It ain't nothing nasty or nothing like that. It's just her threatening to kill somebody. So I want to kind of see what you guys think about it. Check this out. Hold on. Keep this for you guys. It says audio of Cassie allegedly threatening to kill an escort released to the public. That's what the article says. Let's see what they talking about.
you if you don't show me right now. I will kill you and I will hide you and I will cut you up and put you in the dirt right now. Pull it up. If you have it, pull that up. Because if not, I'm going to kill you and then he's going to kill you again. So just do it. Pull that up right now. You got that? Pull that up. I'm going to kill you. You don't understand. I don't give a I've never killed anybody in my life, but I will kill you because you're with me. You're with me in my life right now. If I saw a video of you doing anything that you didn't want people to see, I would show you the video so you could tell me what the happened. You're playing games with me, telling me you saw some. Now you're saying you.
Can y'all hear that?
You're with me. I'm going to you up. I don't think you understand. And it's not going to be my hands, and it's not going to be blood on my hands. Someone else is going to do it. So you have to tell me right now, and I'm recording this whole shit. FYI, tell me what the you're talking about. Because this is not cool. We're not playing. I'm not playing with you, Sujit. Like, you saw some. Yes, you're my brother. Be my brother and tell me what you saw. You're going to be able to find it.
So, in my opinion, that's how I think most. For the first part of it, I was like, most women are gonna react like that. I will kill you. I'll kill you. All right, cool. Like most women, you get they tape, and you holding on to it. You trying to be funny. They probably react like that. I thought the part that was kind of crazy though was the I'm gonna do it and then he gonna do it again, and or the end of that when she was like, you know, I ain't even gonna put, ain't gonna be no blood on my hands. Like, oh, you very aware, but Cassie not on trial. Diddy on trial. You get what I'm saying? And all these people are getting immunity to testify against Diddy. Yes, I was doing. She got on the stand. She said, yes, I'm doing the free calls. Yeah, I'm part of that. But he hired me. He's on trial. So I get it that people are like, yo, Cassie's not innocent. I never felt that Cassie was innocent. I don't think she's no innocent lamb. I think she was a part of this at some point. I do believe she's a victim of some of this stuff too, as well. I think both things are true. But she's not on trial. He on trial. And it don't matter what comes out about her, she got immunity. So people got to kind of keep that in mind. And you know, it's interesting because back then, everybody, like 50 Cent had Cassie's tape, and he called Diddy. Did you guys see? I'm gonna show you this. 50 Cent previously spoke about when he got Cassie's freak off tape in 2010. And he called in and he said that he called Diddy and kind of let him know what was going on. Check this out right here. I don't know if you guys ever caught this, but I thought this was interesting. This is 50 Cent talking back then. This is the old audio. Check it out.
I don't know. I know. Check this out. On the up and up, the fuck like he called. We should kick it on telephone and after the main.
Right.
And the nigga be like, matter of fact, they sent me the girl pictures, like pictures of this girl, like not the that y'all saw. Worse, way worse.
Wow. Are you kidding me?
Like penetration pictures and
Nah, come on, man. Come on, Phil.
all that. And I didn't even I called the nigga. I said, yo, you with this girl? Like you really you like her like that? And he was like, yeah, that's my girl. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna send you something. You look at it, you call me back. I sent him the photos, the pictures and everything. And the nigga called back and was like, yo, thanks, man. Yo, I really appreciate that. Yo, where you get these shits from? And I said, you know, like, because they know, like, if something crazy is going on, if they send it to me, I'll make sure it get out there. Like, as far as this video.com is concerned.
Yeah.
And those other properties. So they sent it to me. But, you know, I really kind of felt like those photographs was not happening because of Cassie. I felt like they was happening because of Puffy.
So I'm not gonna go with what. So that's what 50 said when he found out. This is decades ago, almost 2 decades ago, when 50 found out about the freak offs and all that stuff. This is why when 50 is talking, he's speaking low key from what he knows. It's insider information. Like, bro, I know about this because I was there. That's how 50 be talking. And I thought that was crazy. because this has been going on for so long. That's probably why Diddy was just so arrogant and felt like, bro, you know how arrogant you got to be when you get to the point that you just hiring people just for this type of stuff, using your legitimate organization. I'm a business owner. Some of you guys are business owners. Some of you guys have employees. I have employees. When you get to the point where it's like, yo, I'm just hiring people to go pick up drugs for me and putting them on a $100,000 salary, and this is what you do for me. You clean up my freak offs and you pick up drugs. That's a different level of arrogance. To think that nothing's gonna happen, you can just get away with that. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Ain't nobody untouchable. You know what I'm saying? I think that I do think that there is a reason that Diddy is the one that's handpicked out of the bunch. Because I think that this is going on a lot. I would assume that this is going on a lot in the industry. But it don't matter. It's like when we all speeding down the freeway and the cop pulled me over. I can't be like, yo, everybody's speeding. You know what a cop gonna say? But I caught you. How do I know? Because I've been in that situation. I ain't say everybody's speeding, but it's like, bro, I was going the flow of traffic. Yeah, but I caught you. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the situation. And unfortunately for Diddy, everybody around him is taking plea deals or getting immunity to testify against him. I don't know how he beats this case. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how he beats this case. I think that we should jump in the community hour right now. This is where we talk about the entertainment news topic from the entrepreneur perspective. This is where we talk about the lessons that we could take with us from these topics instead of just looking at them to be entertained. And a huge lesson that I see when I look at this Diddy situation is just, we always, at any point in business, no matter what, and no matter how successful you become in business, always remain in the space of these blessings have to be managed properly. I think the arrogance comes when you start believing that the things that you were blessed with are yours and not blessings that you're supposed to use for a purpose. The Bible says, to whom much is given, much is required. I teach business, by the way. I coach people specifically on how to get clients, get more customers. And you can check us out on ulegend.com, ulgnd.com. You see it at the bottom of the screen. So we come here and we talk about these things from these perspectives because I think there's learning lessons in all this for all of us to take in our life. Whether you run a business, whether you work a job, whatever it is, there's lessons in this stuff, man. The arrogance that man moved through life with, we just watched, I was just talking about Dame Dash, right? And Dame Dash is unfortunately going through a lot financially. He's losing a lot of stuff. And I never laugh at calamity of other people because it could always be you. You think it can't be you, it can always be you. You know what I'm saying? But I also look at it like, man, the Bible does say pride go before the fall, haughty spirit, or pride go before destruction, a haughty spirit before the fall. Haughty means arrogant. You know what I'm saying? Pride destroys. Arrogance causes falls. And when you look at these situations and a lot of these people that get caught up in these situations, you think because you have money that is going to be able to translate to freedom, like to you doing whatever you want. And you listen, here's a lesson, man. We don't have freedom, we have liberty. There is a big difference between the two. Freedom is I just do whatever I want. Liberty is I can do things under a system. I can move how I want under the rules and regulations of the system. People think it's a free country. No, it's a liberated country. And if you start doing things outside of the realm of liberty and start thinking that you have freedom and autonomy, you're going to get caught up. I always tell this parable because my grandma taught it to me. I thought it's such a powerful lesson. God rest her soul, is one of the greatest things she's ever taught me. She talks about success, and she says success is like going to the beach. And sometimes the devil put us on a paddle boat and start rowing us into the ocean. And we laughing and we singing and we think we having all the great time. We at the beach, we on the ocean, the devil rowing us, he paddling us. And you paddling and he paddling and you singing and you laughing, you closing your eyes and you dancing. And then you get to the middle of the ocean. And the devil snatches the paddles, jumps in the speedboat and runs and speeds off. And you just stuck in the middle of the ocean with no paddles. And you so far out there, you don't even know which way shore it is. You don't know where the sand is anymore. And the sand represents God's will for your success. Why God gave you. This is what God wants for you. He wants you to go to the beach, sit on the sand, and look at all the, you know, the beauty of what he gave you. The ocean represents sin, and the devil is paddling you out into the middle of sin. So we get success, we get to the beach, and we in the middle of that water. We start going into the middle of that water when God never intended for us to be in the middle of that water. But we doing what we want to do, paddling. And then you get left out there, because when it all falls down, when it all hit the fan, the devil ain't gonna be right there next to you. Diddy, you gotta sit in jail, right? The ocean represents sin. We paddle out into the middle of our own sin. And when you get caught out there, you realize, like, dang, sometimes we get so far out there, we don't even know how to get back. What do I do? Where do I go? I don't have no paddles. I gotta swim. I gotta push this boat with my hands and find my way. I don't even know which direction to go in. How did I get this far out here? How many of us have been in that situation? I have, in my life, where it's like, dang, man, I don't even know how my life ended up this messed up. And you got to figure out a way to fix it. Now, my grandma would say it's not impossible to get back to the shore, but it's really hard when you don't have them paddles. It's really hard when you don't know what direction to start paddling in. It's not impossible, but it's hard. Some people never make it back. That's the way it goes, man. So be conscious of that. You know, and when I'm teaching you guys these things, I teach business from the biblical perspective because I think there's so much wisdom in the Bible when it comes to business. 2,500 verses in the Bible, it's about 2,350 verses are about money. Jesus taught 16 to 38 parables about money. So I love teaching business from that perspective because that's what it's there. So when the Bible says, when I reference that and I say, you know, the Bible says, Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verses 26, I believe. It says, for the one who pleases him, God has given wisdom, knowledge, and joy. For the sinner, though, God has given the business of gathering and collecting only to give to the one who does please God. Sometimes we see people that are very successful, that they look like they're having fun because they done paddled their boat into the ocean and they singing and dancing and laughing. And it looks like, man, look how much fun they having. I want to live like that. Man, they paddling in the ocean of sin. Don't be jealous of that. That's why we're not supposed to covet. That's why we're not supposed to be jealous of other people's stuff, because you don't know what them people, first of all, you don't know who gave them that. You don't know if that blessing is from God or from the devil. That's number one. Two, you don't know what they doing to keep it or what they doing with it while they have it. You think that they have wisdom, knowledge, and joy, but they may just have the business of gathering and collecting. So don't ever get covetous. Don't ever look at people and be like, man, I wish, man, if I could just live like Diddy. You know how many people would have said that 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Man, I'm just trying to get like Diddy, man. I just gotta. Are you willing to take the curses that come with those alleged blessings? Because right now, Diddy don't want to be Diddy. Promise you he don't. Promise you he probably wished, man, I wish I could do something, if I could go back. It's very easy to get in trouble, very hard to get out of it. So be conscious of that for all my entrepreneurs that's listening. Be conscious of that for all my professionals that's listening, my business professionals. Hey, you making some money, you doing good? Don't start what Mike Tyson say. Mike Tyson say, go home with the girl you took to the dance. Don't start doing things that you wouldn't have done prior to. I believe that money and success, money and power, it amplifies who you are. I do believe that, but I do believe it changes some people as well. I know some people say money don't change nobody. It only amplifies. I believe that partially that's true. By the grace of God, I've been able to acquire a lot of money. I've been able to run some successful businesses, have some great investments, and have a lot of millionaire friends as well as being a millionaire. So I have access to see different types of people from different walks of life. So I see it both ways. And I can come back. It's like I can come back from over this hill and come back to you guys and say, hey, this is what's going on. Some of you guys are successful as well watching, so you guys know. What I'm saying is very factual. Some people, yes, the money, it amplified who they are. They were already jerks before they got the money. They're bigger jerks with the money. But some people, when they get the money, it allows them to become the person that covers up the deficiency they had when they were younger or something they went through in their life. I was just telling my assistant She was judging somebody. She was like, you know, I just think that they stupid for doing this. And I'm like, look, man, never call nobody stupid for their decisions, because their circumstances, their experiences is what made them make that decision. If you have that person's same experience and you went through the same things 9 times out of 10, you would be that person. Something in everybody makes them do everything that they're doing. Something in you makes you make the decisions that you make. For example, I'll use myself as an example. Why it was so important for me to get rich. Why it was so important for me to have that kind of ambition. I was just telling somebody, the more ambitious I became, the more I healed, the less ambitious I became. The more that I healed, the less ambitious I became. Why? Because I'm not in survival mode anymore. The reason that I was so ambitious early on in my life, trying to make millions of dollars and hustle and do all this different stuff, and that's not a normal thought process. Most people will be happy with a good job. The reason that I had that in me is because of the things that I lacked when I was a child. Not that my parents did a great job, but there was moments. For example, I wanted to go play football for Texas Christian University. The school sent me and my family tickets to come. I had an official visit. They sent me the tickets for the game to come to one of the football games. And they said, once you get here, we'll pay for the hotel, we'll pay for everything, we'll take you around campus, we'll show you everything. But you have to pay for your own flights. My parents couldn't afford to pay for the flights. We didn't have much at that time. That in me, that moment, I said, I'll never be in a situation where me nor any of my children can ever not have an opportunity because I don't have the money to get them. I was in the hood too. I needed to go. I ended up going to jail like 4 months later. Changed my life. It didn't ruin it, but it changed my life. It put me on a different path. So everybody has something that they're going through or that they've been through in their past that makes them who they are. So even when I look at these situations in entertainment news, that's why I tell you guys, there's always something to learn from this. Because you have to be able to identify what have you gone through in your past that makes you feel that way. My assistant, she was saying that, she always feels the need to take care of her friends and take care of everybody, even financially or just physically being there for them or whatever. And I said, well, what about, or even for their children, right? And I said, what about you makes you feel like you're responsible for somebody else's children? Like, what makes you feel that way? I don't know. I don't, and I said, well, you should identify that. It's not just, of course, especially when the thing doesn't make sense, right? Like, this doesn't benefit you. This doesn't help you. Why do you feel the need to do this? Like, everybody has that. We all have that. There's all something we can identify about ourselves that say, this is a part of my personality. I don't even know why I do this. This is just what I do. But when you get self-aware and you're able to identify, you should at least be able to identify so you know why you are the way you are. Something in you is like that. Something in Diddy is like that. Why do you feel the need to have power over everybody? Were you bullied growing up? Did people make you feel like you had no power? You had no say-so? I know Diddy's dad was from the street, and his mom, I guess, as well. Did you feel like you had to create your own reputation of power because of who your father was? Did you always feel small under his shadow? There's something in his past that made him who he is. R. Kelly, look at R. Kelly. He said that his sister, I think they said his sister allegedly, or his auntie or somebody allegedly was touching him when he was a kid. His mom, y'all seen the interview? R. Kelly said he used to take his mom's drink and put his lips on the lipstick ring where she left a ring of lipstick on her drink. He would put it there and pretend he was kissing his mom. Like, there's always something there that's weird. And it doesn't justify what these people do as adults, because as a child, I thought as a child, when I became a man, I put away childish things, and we're all responsible for our trauma and dealing with it, because everybody has trauma. Everybody don't do these type of things. But it's just important to note, man, everybody done went through something, bro. That's just having empathy. I don't have sympathy for these people, but I have empathy to say, bro, you went through something. And I have empathy for you guys to say the same thing. So a lot of us, we're going to have success, especially if you watch this channel. I hope that you're going to have all this. And if you're a client with me over at ulgnd.com, ulegend.com, you're going to have success. But it's important to note who we are before we have the success, so we don't end up in situations that we didn't have to go through because we just weren't self-aware. You know how many people out there chasing followers, trying to build their platforms up just because they feel a deficiency in love? You feel like you didn't get the attention that you deserved as a child, or you didn't get the attention that you deserved even as a young adult. So now all you do is try to go viral every day because you want the world to love you. And you don't even care. You know how many people don't even care that they're not making no money off of going viral? Which they're not. Mr. Viral right here, over 1 billion views on TikTok, hundreds of millions of views on Instagram, 4 monetized YouTube channels. I'm Mr. Viral. But I look at it, I look at my contemporary peers, go, dang, you go viral every day, you don't even make no money. They all come to me and say, can you coach me on how to make money going viral? Because they have these deficiencies, and that's what we do at my company. We teach people how to create content that actually converts into clients, right? And not just creating content for the sake of creating content or doing views. If you're doing 1,000 views, we can teach you how to get clients, right? But they come to me because they go, you actually have money. We all going viral, but you're actually successful. But everybody has a deficiency. Some people are just comfortable with it. Like, man, I just want to get attention. I'm cool with that. If I get famous, I'm good. No money, just famous. It makes no sense to me. But that's the world we live in. So just take account of those things. We're running out of time. Take note of those things. God bless you guys, man. I hope that you guys learned something from this. I hope that you guys...
It could be a worst in faction. Is there an argument to make to support Israel in some limited strikes? Sure, I would be open to that argument, but I don't think there's a single American out there, Republican or Democrat, who would agree that the United States should spend money, let alone put our troops in harm's way to cater to a war that we technically don't have anything to do with.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome yesterday's... Let's go.
The prior Republican administrations bomb Iran's nuclear facilities,
and we certainly went into Afghanistan, Iraq.
Yeah, but I think that this is important.
Under false pretenses.
There's a reason that it hasn't happened, and there's a reason why everybody who wants him to do this is arguing that he should do it, because all the other presidents haven't done it, except that Donald Trump ran on not doing this kind of thing.
I think that the risk here is you see the toppling of the regime, and none of us know who in the hell would replace Ayatollah Khamenei. We have no idea. It could be a worst in faction. Is there an argument to make to support Israel in some limited strikes? Sure, I would be open to that argument, but I don't think there's a single American out there, Republican or Democrat, who would agree that the United States should spend money, let alone put our troops in harm's way to cater to a war that we technically don't have anything to do with. So I think the president has to be very judicious in whatever decision he ultimately makes here.
Let me give you a couple seconds because we got to go. But
I think it's very sobering to realize that, so many of these folks that Trump put in his cabinet in very important positions have no experience. And a lot of Republicans in Congress, who's in the Senate, who care tremendously about foreign policy and about the military, voted for them out of loyalty to Trump. And now we find ourselves moving, Navy assets to the region, and the Secretary of the Navy is an art collector with zero military experience. We find ourselves in the brink of military action. We find ourselves involved tangentially or directly in a war in the Middle East, and the Secretary of Defense is a guy who hangs out on signal threads and who, has no leadership experience, a Fox News host. You've got Tulsi Gabbard. And so, I think the roosters have come to the home to roost, and it's very concerning. It's very concerning as an American. I forget partisanship.
It was notable because there was a key meeting on this conflict that happened at Camp David, and Tulsi Gabbard wasn't even invited to the meeting. There are just different reasons being given for why that is, maybe a scheduling conflict, maybe something else. But it's both her inexperience and also the fact that there's actually a lot of people in this White House who don't trust her, who think that she has poor judgment, who think that she is sort of not a MAGA conservative in terms of how she deals with foreign policy. And she is the top figure in the White House who gives the president intelligence from the intelligence community.
I think that point is moot now, because we're potentially on the brink of launching missiles into a foreign country. And so regardless of what you think about these individuals' experience, the people who are around them, those career individuals, are going to have to advise the hell out of them to make the best decisions to advise the president. My hope is that the president doesn't make this decision. I don't think that this is going to end well for us, because there is the opportunity for Iran to retaliate. And if they do that against the bases we have in the region, we will have no choice but to further this. And there's not a single American who wants to send their sons and daughters to another conflict in the Middle East. Trillions of dollars potential of taxpayer. We can't afford it.
Right.
So I think
administration has not been on the same page about this. First of all, Marco Rubio came out and said, well, we had no idea what was going on. And then days later, Trump was like, oh no, we knew everything that was going on. And now we have Tulsi Gabbard, who's an accused Assad asset, by the way. We shouldn't forget that. And we have, to your point, Pete Hegseth. Do you feel comfortable, even no matter what happens, do you feel comfortable with this administration and all their discord and all their lies overseeing a potential war that would have a massive impact on our geopolitics in that region and in other places as well?
I feel comfortable with hoping, Tiffany, that the administration makes the right decision to not get entangled in the Middle East again.
Are they capable of making the right decision?
I think so. I think so.
Tiffany Cross, an asset. Oh, let's not forget a Russian asset too. She's been busy. And their obsession with Pete Hegseth is just getting old. I mean, they mock his credibility like all he's ever done has been a Fox News host. Just a little refresher for the panel. He's a Harvard grad, an Army major, and a Bronze Star recipient. And he actually fought in the wars that you all just talk about. But I'm not tripping because, I mean, that's just how it goes. If you're conservative, your credentials don't matter on CNN. Back to the circus.
Because, like you said, Congress hasn't done anything. They haven't normalized immigration laws and modernized them. And as a result, you have this whole underclass of workers in this country who then get penalized while the employers don't.
Right. We do have an immigration problem, but I think immigration has to uniquely be tied to deficits in our country. So if there are industries and sectors that require additional workers where Americans, we don't have enough people, for example, then you have to pull people obviously from other places. And it's clear to me that the president is recognizing that as it pertains to agriculture and the service industry.
They undid.
The question becomes, and we don't have an answer to this, what's the ultimate end game? What is the end game here? If the current regime topples, who in the world are we advocating to lead Iran? We don't have an answer to that question yet.
The fact that you have a director of national intelligence who you're claiming is not irrelevant, I'm claiming is not qualified, is incredibly concerning, as we are at the brink of war. And I think, him being surrounded by military experts running the DOD and in high positions who could at best play battleship as part of their qualifications is very, very concerning.
All right, we got
I think it's
there.
a little
Coming up
naive to
next
say
for
that he's not
us,
getting good intelligence.
President Trump is now.
Did you guys hear Abby? While talking about Trump,
same company. It's the identical pill that I buy in New York. And here I'm paying $88 in London. In New York, I'm paying $1,300. Now, this is a great businessman, but he's not familiar with this crazy situation that we have.
Karen Bass said the quiet part out loud, and not a whole lot of people noticed. So you had to really pay attention to what she says here, because just like Brandon Gill just said, and by the way, Brandon Gill, by telling me and telling you what the objective is with these Democrats, it's to cultivate, like it's some sort of breeding farm, to get as many illegals as possible into the country and turn them into Democrat voters. But I also believe what he said too, is that they kind of backfired on them. A lot of people who are from Mexico, well, they're Catholic. They're family people. They run, even though they're not from here, they run, they're used to strict familial roles. The woman, the man, they don't like the other stuff with the Pride Month. That's not a big favor. So I think they made a big boo-boo. And that's why I think they don't care about the criminals, because they're like, wait a second, we made a big mistake. So I want you to listen to what Karen Bass says here, because she indeed does let the cat out of the proverbial bag.
Officials say more than 20,000 demonstrators took to the streets in LA yesterday as part of the nationwide No Kings protests, which were largely peaceful. There was a pocket of unrest outside the federal building. How violent did things get in reality last night in your town?
Well, yes, and I appreciate you pointing that out because this is a small sliver of our town. There were a lot of people out, about 30,000. I will tell you that out of that big crowd, 5 people were arrested. About 30.
I want to stop there first and foremost. The city of Los Angeles. I don't know how many people live in Los Angeles, but you're telling me the metropolitan area of Los Angeles, you had 30,000 people show up, and that's supposedly big? There's more people at a baseball game. I'm pretty sure there's more people at the Dodgers game. There's more people at the Los Angeles Angels game. What are you talking about? This wasn't successful. You drew in all these nuts, and you only had 30,000 people show up? This is what we're talking about?
Given citations, and there were injuries on both sides. Officers were injured, and so were people that were there. But, you know...
All right, so the reason why you see the foggy looking image is because the people here don't like seeing violence. They get mad if they see people like doing bad things. So a couple of times as she's talking, you're going to see that cloud show up because I have to cover up the mostly peaceful protesters.
Well, I think that, one, if the raids hadn't happened, then that protest would have been a No Kings protest. We know that that was planned months in advance. But the disruption and the fear that has been caused by the raids has really had a devastating effect and has been a body blow to our economy. I don't think the president understands that we have entire sectors of our economy that cannot function without immigrant labor.
Did you catch that? She said 2 things at the end there that you might want to. Yeah, let's listen to that again, because like, what did you just say, Karen? What did you say? Okay, listen again.
Economy. I don't think the president understands that we have entire sectors of our economy that cannot function without immigrant labor.
And I'll slave labor.
We have entire sections of our economy that can't function without illegals. You got a problem. You just told the world that your entire economy, or many sections of your economy, can't function. Not may lose money. They can't even function. So what you're telling the world, and you went on CNN and vomited that, is that many of the people who have businesses in Los Angeles can't even exist as businesses if they don't have newcomers working there. Let that sink in. So, in other words, you've lost control of your entire city. You can't function by hiring regular people. You're okay with that. And then the other thing she said, I didn't back all the way up for it, is if there were no ICE raids, none of this would be happening. And now there's all kinds of fear throughout the city. Has she taken a poll as to who's afraid? I'm not afraid. You're not afraid. The only people who are afraid are the ones who may fall into that category. That, and of course, the business owners in Los Angeles who can't afford to have a business without using newcomers. This is the Democrat Party. They are now okay telling the world, yeah, we can't work. We can't even have a business without these people. Seriously? And you're a mayor? You're the mayor of one of the biggest cities in the country, and you're now telling us you can't have an economy that prospers without breaking the law. Let's just say it directly as it is. We can't function without breaking the law. I don't know how you feel about that, but to me it just tells me you're a failed state, you're a failed city, you're horrible as a mayor, and this is what you have to say. I can't make it work.
But the real solution of all of this is for the administration to stop the raids. We have heard that...
The only real solution we have to any of this is not for people to have any personal accountability. Oh no, these people, they can't stop themselves. they're not from here, and they're afraid, and their businesses can't function because their businesses shouldn't function, and the only way it can go back to normal, is if we stop enforcing the law. Okay, is that what you really want to tell the world right now? That you basically have a criminal colony? That's it? That's what Los Angeles has been reduced to? A criminal colony.
These raids might take place for the next 30 days. We don't know how many.
Hey, guess what? They're going to continue. I don't know if she read President Trump's, post, but get them all out.
They're going to take place in a given day. And you just think about the disruption to families and the disruption to our local economy.
I don't think she thought this out. I really don't think she thought this out by going on TV and going, just think about the disruption to families and the local economy. Now, I have to believe there are people in California, sane people. I spoke to Chris Moritz last week. There's sane people in California like, is it really that far gone? Yeah. Your state can't sustain itself, or at least Los Angeles, without having newcomers. Wow. Well, one person noticed, and this one person is pissed.
Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass have already proven their incompetence and poor leadership during the Los Angeles wildfires. Now, as we experience rampant lawlessness and civil unrest, it's never been more clear they're unable to respond effectively and responsibly during calamity. Whether it's sheer incompetence or outright malevolence, the reality is stark. California's in a state of turmoil, and I ask my fellow Angelenos, why are Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass still in office? How much more of their destructive decision-making masquerading as leadership are we going to tolerate? It's time to take back our community and our state and put the power and the privilege in the hands of competent leaders whose goals are to protect us and the way of life this nation was founded upon and promises to offer. That's all.
In case you didn't recognize him, as he's aged a little bit, still has those steel blue eyes, that's Mel Gibson. So, in the last couple of days, I played you a video by John Voight, I played a video by Mel Gibson, and I'm starting to wonder if we're going to see a bubbling from celebrities, from the money, to say, enough of this stuff. We're done. We can't survive as a state. Beautiful state out here on the ocean. You've completely done your best to ruin it. And of course, it's a huge state, so people up north in, Napa Valley, they probably don't see it. But I just talked to Chris Moritz, who's in Malibu, and they see it. Malibu is right next to LA. There's parts of town you can't drive in. And now we're finding out there's parts, of their economy that cannot exist anymore because of what they've done. But even that might be a lie. Let me show you something. This popped up today. Two different articles, one by NBC News and one by the New York Post. One says, how a city in Nebraska is recovering after state's largest worksite immigration raid. And I'll make it big so you guys can see it. And it says, every seat in the waiting area of Glen Valley Foods was occupied with people looking to fill the jobs. Think about that. You're telling people that your economy can't exist without these newcomers. Yet, when people realize at this point we're going to have to hire regular people, they can't get enough seats. Again, every seat in the waiting area of Glen Valley Foods was occupied with people filling out job applications early Thursday afternoon, 2 days after the meat packing plant became the center of the largest work. You have a message. In the state. And so what happens is, oh, I'm sorry, did all those people just get arrested? Yeah. No worries. Here come the people of Nebraska going, hey, I'll take a job. Oh, so you can hire Americans when you have to, when you've been exposed, when your business can't exist because you've been paying these wages to newcomers. And now you have to pay Americans and you have to fill these jobs. Otherwise, your business is toast. They're available. Again, not one, not two. Every seat in the waiting room at Glen Valley Foods was occupied with people filling out job applications. Every single seat. So Mayor Bass, maybe you're not aware. Maybe you don't know that people are willing to work in these factories. Second story. Nearly 1 million newcomers have self-deported under Trump, which has led to what? Oh, no, higher wages. Let that sink in. On the left there, you got a city in Nebraska that had the biggest workplace raid ever, and all these people got cleared out. The local people, seeing that all these people got cleared out, said, hey, I'll take that job. And then on the right, you have the New York Post writing, since most of these people have self-deported, wages have gone up. You think those are kind of correlative? You think they're kind of related? Yeah, they're related. They're absolutely related. So when Mayor Bass got out there and went on television crying and whining about the fact that our economy out here is completely reliant, it won't even exist without newcomers, she's lying. There's people in Los Angeles, probably in Malibu, probably in areas, Huntington Beach, all around there, Venice Beach, who are like, yeah, we'll take the job. You sure got a whole lot of homeless people out there. Might want to clean them up and put them to work. It's a cop-out. The Democrats are lying. They continue to lie. And now they're in big trouble because what happens when, and is happening, the money gets turned off. When that spigot just goes like that. No more. You're not getting it. You're not getting a dime. Let me show you something that came out today. Here's one. What are they going to do when this happens? Just in. Sean Duffy says sanctuary states will not get 1 red cent from the federal government to repair the infrastructure damage caused by the rioters. This comes after rioters were seen destroying roadways and using the concrete to throw at officers. In addition, he's threatening to withhold all funding from rogue state actors who refuse to cooperate with ICE. Yeah, and so here are these guys just breaking up stuff. Just breaking up stuff so that they can have projectiles to throw all over the place. And the government's like, well, guess what? You're losing your money. We're not going to pay you for this. What's California going to do? Stephen Miller responded to what Gavin Newsom said. After Trump said that big post about get them all out, Newsom comes up and says, his plan is clear, incite violence and chaos in blue states. How is he inciting chaos and violence? There's nothing in Trump's post, which I read to you, that says, hey, you guys should all go out there and break stuff. Nope. He said you got to leave. Have an excuse to militarize our city, demonize his opponents, keep breaking the law, and consolidate power. It's illegal and we will not let it stand. So now you're worried about illegality? How about all the people running around doing this stuff? Notice, Democrats never advocate for personal accountability. This is the governor of the state saying that the plan is clear. It's inciting violence and chaos. There's nothing that Trump said in that post that should cause a person to get out there and throw stuff or burn stuff. How is it? I would love to talk to Gavin Newsom. How is it inciting someone to leave their couch and do something? It'd be very simple for the people who you're trying to actually incite to tell them, stay your asses home. leave, do whatever. Your job is to protect people. Your job is to make sure people feel safe. And that's not what you're doing. You're telling them, all right, guys, you see what he said? You got to get out there some more. Yeah, it's chaos. No, it's order. It's actually telling people you need to do the right thing. You're not supposed to be here. I'm the governor of the state of which you broke the law coming here. I need to help you to get out. That's not what he's saying. The Democrats are desperate. And then Stephen Miller actually responded to that by saying, you run a sanctuary state that illegally harbors foreign terrorists and willfully perpetuates a criminal invasion of the United States. The government of California does not recognize but willfully and maliciously abrogates the supremacy of federal and constitutional law. Well said. Big mouthful, but shut up is what he said. Shut up. You're advocating illegality. Period. No other way to say it. All right, so let me take a few comments. We got here. Pritzker counted that, hence raised our taxes on everything to get his funding to continue supporting them. Absolutely. Somebody told Ashley to get Mel Gibson. She might get him, Bill. Don't challenge her. You are the best production that I've ever seen. Oh, now you done challenge her. Now she got to call Mel Gibson, and I know just how to get in touch with him. Beth, I'm convinced he's possessed, so I can reach out, but I won't listen to him. I don't know what she's talking about. Lefty lunatics, yes, crazy, absolutely crazy. Oh yeah, Barry, I actually posted that. I can show it tonight when I jump over at Rumble. I saw 2 people get run over. I'm pretty sure it didn't make it. It was self-defense, but I don't think it was in Florida. I hope those 2 drivers will not be punished. I also saw one in California. Guy just said, sorry, I got to get home. You're roadkill. That's what's going to come down to. I hope you're all ready for this. Well, we're probably about to see. In no uncertain terms, especially if Gavin Newsom's going to fan more flames. If he's going to fan more flames, we may be looking at Mad Max real soon. Pretty cool that, was Mel Gibson was in Mad Max, so it kind of fits. But people aren't going to take it anymore. You are not going to stand up in front of me. Especially, I've watched people throw concrete on the cars. I've watched them break out windows. I've watched them not let women get home with their babies in a car. Sorry, not going to happen. Boof, taking you out. Not going to stop. I am not going to let this happen. It can't happen. And now you've got, of course, Florida. Florida's like, just go ahead and do what you got to do. Which is going to cause more violence, because these people have no concept of self-control. Nothing. They have nothing at getting self-control. Yeah, Steve Hilton would be great too. I'd love to talk to him. We need to stand behind the drivers who took steps in their own hands for that stupid stuff. I completely agree with you, because everybody deserves the right to come home. You do not have the right to stop me or impede me. And then, of course, surround my car and bang on the hood. Who's going to pay for that? Who's going to pay for the dents on the hood? Who's going to pay for the broken windows? Who's going to help my children who are screaming in the back seat? Like, what in the hell is all this? Oh, it's just Los Angeles or Seattle or Portland. Put a wall around these cities. I'm done with it. And what happens is she's talking to you about the economy and how they can't, certain parts of the economy, certain sectors can't function without newcomers working there. And so what you're going to see is a continue, and if they're going to just make it keep going this way, I don't know what these people in Los Angeles are going to do. At some point, it's like, well, listen, I understand you had a good cause, but get the hell out of my way. It's absolutely crazy at this point. Absolutely crazy.
I'm back with another video, guys. Just got back from with the family. I didn't vlog none of that. I just enjoyed the time. Oh, slow down. Let me see. We're finna take a right up here. Yeah. I just enjoyed the time. I didn't even pick the camera up, but I'm gonna take them for ice cream tonight because my daughter is leaving. We're going back to Vegas tomorrow. We got Marty Mart in the building over here. 2 things going on. pulling up to the wrap shop right now. We're about to check out at 300. About to give y'all the first look at my new giveaway that's finna start right there. Yeah. Shit. Oh yeah, he just did something illegal with all these people outside looking too. All right, but yeah, we finna pull up to the wrap shop, give y'all this sneak peek of the 300. They almost done with it and only been here a week. Go straight. Then we gonna head over to Lamborghini because I'm finally getting my Revolta back. So, you know, that's a good thing. Listen up, guys. Yes, they shop is messy, but they do excellent work. That's what he was nervous about. You can park behind this years. That's what he was nervous about. Like, man, the shop is dirty. I said, you been in my comment section, didn't you? He was like, yeah. I said, bro, don't worry about the comment section. If they see me coming here and they know you doing good work, they gonna rock with you, bro. Just stick to what you say. Don't never try to get over, bro. Because once a shop try to get over that, it's over with. That relationship is expired. Fudge. Bad.
No money for you.
Yeah, we're gonna go in here and check it out though. Get a quick sneak peek, see what else they got going on. Then we're gonna go get that lamb chops. Cause it's been a minute without that. A minute. We're going to get the lamb chops like this. Yeah, lock the door. We got on the flip flopsies. Ooh, hold on. They must have put a matte wrap on the Lambo.
You heard that's your phone's in, right?
Yeah, just lock the door. Some nice colors. That matte wrap. Cybertruck, that a food truck? Yep, I see it. It say barbecue and something on there. They might be getting it wrapped. Or something. They might be getting it wrapped. Oh, I see that 300 right here. Oh, faded. Faded. What's up? Ooh. With the wheels. Yes, sir. Go. I think I ordered some lights. What up? What's up, bro?
I used to watch you very, very, very long time ago.
Still at it. What's up, man? Chilling. Finally getting my damn car back, bro. Nah, talking about from the Lambo dealership. Man, they had my shit for like 7 weeks. It's cause it's new, so they have the, you know, the Revolta just came out, so they had a lot of updates. Yep. Software, whole bunch of software shit, bro. See, man, y'all got no picking up. What's up, bro? To this guy right here, always there. What's up, bro?
What is it? Is it 3-2? What's the series?
3-2? What up, bro?
Yo, how are you?
It's a YouTube group that he started.
Oh, no, I mean
32s. It's a 32 game.
I know that. The OKC.
Oh, OKC. Right now it's 3-2. Yeah.
3-2.
Man, they need to lose, bro.
They're not losing.
I know.
Shit.
You don't want them to lose. I don't want them to win just because of this guy right here. It ain't nothing else. Yeah, because of this guy.
OKC's the way better team. They're gonna win today. And Halliburton's hurt, so yeah, it's over with.
Yeah, but he was a non-factor last game in the anyways.
Yeah.
What was it, the fourth?
Yeah, he sucks. Halliburton sucks. He's just a clutch shooter. That's it. He always sucks. But that clutch shit helped him out a lot. But Siakam is their real shooter and all their other role players.
Y'all got work around this motherfucker's way. Can never go wrong doing the raps, getting that bag. Almost done with this one. I see they put this one. Hey, check this out. This looks like the Cybertruck right here, bro. But black.
So this is the original.
Yeah. Why you touching shit? Pops, Marty over here touching shit.
They're gonna get rap
already.
Over. They're gonna put rap over that, you know? It's all, you know what I'm saying?
Dude, it's kind of hard.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
Still looks like a freaking Tesla when you take it up.
Yeah, but it got the marks, you know what I'm saying? It looked like a Cybertruck.
Stress.
Yeah. Like chrome black. Brush. Black brush look. That's what it looked like. They do some good ass work.
They got a lot of cars
Can't
here.
even see them.
But they do other things too, or?
Yeah, they got a mechanic. They do mechanic work over there. Oh, what is that? The BMW. Ooh, with the body kit. What is this? An M3 or M4? Oh, this is an M3. Ooh.
Look the engine, baby.
So
Look at the engine.
The engine is a silver.
It's all hard.
Damn.
they got a bag in this one.
Bag. They got all the added features.
Hell
too.
yeah! Look, fenders, mirrors, roof. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they went hard. They went hard on that thing.
This worthy to pick put up at a car show.
Shit, this even a carbon hood on here.
That looks like a wrap though.
No, this ain't no wrap. This this all carbon.
Full carbon.
Yeah.
So the hood's carbon, the fender's carbon.
What's this thing right here? This is a wrap. Oh, that's the blue. Oh, that's PPF.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. So this is a 2025. This is individual Voodoo Blue.
Oh, that's a 25.
It's a 25. Yeah.
Damn.
So we did the intakes, the exhaust.
Crazy
and
for a
everything.
25.
Yeah. Look at the carbon.
You did the exhaust here?
Yeah. It's a manual as well.
Oh, manual. Got the bucket racing seats in here.
That's what I like about BMWs. They got that glow up thing on the seat.
Yeah.
That's hard.
I love these seats, bro. They comfortable. Like you sit right in them. They got carbon everywhere. This one running like 150, ain't it?
His sticker. So manual stickers are cheaper.
Oh yeah.
But his sticker on the back seat.
Oh, here it is.
So his sticker on this was like 109, I think. So he has like 35,000. Just
What y'all do to the exhaust?
downpipes, full exhaust. We lowered the car.
Lowered
Our powder
springs.
coated the wheels. Yeah, we did. So keep in mind, you know BMWs are notorious for brake dust. This is 1 month of driving. Barely any brake dust on
You.
the wheels.
Oh, so y'all do downpiping and shit
We
here
do
too?
everything. Yeah, we just had an ERS that left. We just did stage 2.
Oh, on the years?
On the years, yeah.
How much?
How much she's pushing?
Stage 2.
Yeah, how much is it? They do for the stage 2?
The exhaust. So so there's downpipe, there's tune, and then there's the exhaust. The tune was 2,300, and then the downpipe was 2,000. And then the white ERS over there, we just did we did a new battery and starter.
Okay.
On that one.
That's not bad, right?
Well, no, I need to get my years downpipe.
Yeah. I'll show you the
And
video.
tune.
We just did one.
Let me see it. You got
Video. It's on my pocket 3.
It's on your pocket?
Yeah. I'll show it to you in a second.
Yeah, I need to get my ears down too.
Yeah, for that price, it's crazy. That's a good price.
And then you have the 720. But look at this, what we did to this one. This is all for downpipes and the exhaust.
Yep, that's what I got right now. Mine is where it's at, Jotec. I just got it downpipe, riff exhaust, flame map tune, everything, bro. I got all the riff carbon everywhere. I got the big riff wing. So yep.
That's awesome. It was funny, I was driving by Perillo. I saw the one.
Yeah, I'm finna pick it up today.
Nice.
Hey, yep, picking it up today. How does sound?
I can sort of
Let me hear, yeah. Yee.
They got fast cars everywhere in here. Look, even that little fast thing, that thing's fast too.
Yeah, yeah. That's an old Porsche, ain't it?
Yeah, yep.
Open and closing. Okay.
So this is like when you want to have fun. This is when you're hanging out
quiet.
with neighbors.
Ooh, that's nasty. I like that. Got the remote control valves.
That's crazy. Future is crazy.
Yeah,
future is crazy.
That's been around though a little bit.
I've never heard of that.
Wake
exactly
it up.
what it is. So the manuals, you can't go stage 2 without upgrading the clutches. So we're just doing a piggyback, it's a flash tune. It's gonna get like an extra 100 horsepower.
Y'all do the tune in-house too, or y'all take it somewhere?
So the tune's just a plug and play. Yeah.
How much horsepower? You guys haven't dynoed it, right?
No, we haven't dynoed it, so I wouldn't know.
I want to hear what that year sound like.